Greetings, Redheads. Thank you for joining me again for another episode of Red's View. Of course, I am your gracious host, the one, the only J Red. Of course, I want you to subscribe to the channel before I get to what we're talking about tonight. Subscribe to the youtube.com channel, which is youtube.com/Red's View. Also, follow me on all social media platforms at JAYR3D, on TikTok at The Real JAYR3D because my TikTok got hacked. But anyway, I'm surprised I still have my voice, ladies and gentlemen. I'm surprised that I still have my voice because I went to one of the biggest shows ever last night. That's right. I attended the Grand National Tour stop in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, not the State Farm Arena, not the Tabernacle. I'm talking about the Atlanta Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's right, you heard me, man. It's like a dream come true for a hip hop head. Just everything that's been happening with Kendrick Lamar's career, that from the rap battle last year to the pop-up show or pop-out show to GNX being released, man, it's so much. But on this video, I'm gonna definitely I'm gonna give my review and my opinions on what transpired last night at the ATL stop of the Grand National Tour. Now, if you have attended the Kendrick Lamar SZA joint concert stadium tour, let me know in the comments. If they've already came to your city, let me know. If they are coming to your city, let me know. But I was in attendance, and also if you were in attendance last night, man, let me know what you think. But I'm gonna give my review, my opinions about everything that I've seen. The first thing that I'm just gonna say, all right, that's what we're talking about tonight. The first thing that I'm gonna say, hands down, Kendrick Lamar is the king of rap. After going to this Grand National concert, this stadium concert, it's no doubt about it. And it's not even close. Kendrick Lamar is the biggest artist on the planet. He's the biggest one on the planet as of 2025. Really starting last year, but we're gonna give it some grace. 2025, Kendrick is the king of rap, and he's the hottest artist on the planet. And when I say hottest, right, I'm talking about he has the most impact, he has the most influence, he has the most notoriety. You have to give it to Kendrick Lamar. Now I know Drake stands are going to be in the comments. He needed SZA. He needed SZA to sell this stadium tour. Yeah, I mean, having SZA there is a great addition. But based off of everything that I've seen last night, 85% of the people came there to see Kendrick Lamar. They didn't mind. Of course, people came to see SZA. I'm not taking nothing away from SZA. But most people there were there to see Kendrick Lamar, but SZA definitely did her thing too. So yeah, and I actually got this little souvenir right here. That's right. I attended the Grand National Tour. This right here, I'm gonna keep because let me just say phenomenal show. I gotta give it up to Kendrick. But when we're talking about just who's the hottest right now, you gotta give it to him. I know Drake is a big global star, and yes, I'm going to compare them because y'all going to do in the comments anyway. But when you're talking about notoriety in 2025, comparing Kendrick Lamar and Drake, Kendrick is above Drake. So let me just go ahead and say that. But and let me just break down the reasons why I'm giving that to Kendrick. In this show, let me say there was no hype man, there was no backtracks. It was just Kendrick rapping. Now you had his dancers and you had the fireworks, the pyro, and everything going off. You had the aesthetics. Same with SZA. But Kendrick had no hype man. You know how hard it is to sell out a stadium? Let me say, it was a sold out show. So far, his shows have been sold out. Do you know how hard that is for a rapper to sell out a stadium tour? Me being there, I was in a maze. I was in a maze. It was just so amazing to me just to see the impact that this guy has, man. But yeah, straight rapping, straight rapping. Now, Kendrick does a little harmony thing every now and then, but straight rapping. And I'm talking about when Euphoria came on. I'm gonna go down through the set list so y'all can see it. But man, when Euphoria came on, everybody was rapping bar for bar. So you gotta give it that to him. All right. So before I get into the set list, Kendrick did great. Kendrick did phenomenal. SZA did good too. SZA did good. However, SZA did put me to sleep. SZA did put me to sleep, y'all. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a bean. Now, granted, I'm not the biggest SZA fan. I'm not gonna call myself a fan. I do like some of her music, right? But the only issue I had with this concert was the balance between Kendrick and SZA. Now they set it up nice, but Kendrick's album GNX has so much energy in it, and like a lot of Kendrick's tracks have energy in them. Most of SZA's tracks are vibe tracks. Most of SZA's tracks are vibe songs. Not saying that she can't perform them, but it's hard to go from TV off to snooze. You know what I'm saying? Or going from whacked out murals or squabble up. If we're going to that to I just killed my ex, it just so she did put me to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I had some liquor in my system, I was going, but she put me to sleep on some of her sets. Not gonna lie. All right, but she did great. She did great nonetheless. Okay. Now let me just go over the set list. I'll show you. Matter of fact, before I do that, let me show you a little bit of footage right here. And for those who don't want this to be spoiled to them, you might not want to watch it, but here it is. I'm not going to play the audio, of course, because I don't want to get a copyright strike, but you see no bots. There's no bots around. That is a stadium filled with people there to see the king of rap, Kendrick Lamar. We all were having a good time, ladies and gentlemen. Look how beautiful that is. All right. And that's me just saying Kendrick is definitely the king of rap, blase skip. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the set list. I had some more, I got some more footage, but I don't want to spoil it, and I don't feel like posting all that on here. I don't want to get a copyright strike anyway. So let's go through what the set list was. And I'm glad that this was written down. And spoiler alert, if you do want to see Kendrick Lamar's concert and you don't want to know what he's going to perform, then get past this. You can skip past this part. But yeah, he opened it up with you know what? Let me see. I ain't even gonna start. I ain't gonna share my screen with it. I'm just gonna read it off. Okay. So he started off with whacked out murals. That was dope. Then he came out, he did Squabble Up. Squabble Up got the party jumping. Like I was like, man, like he started off on a high energy level and it was dope. Like everybody was rapping the words, and GNX is the hottest album that's out right now, but I'm gonna get to that later. Then we go into King Kunta. That was blazing. Element from the Damn album, and then we go into TV Off. And he did the first half of TV Off, not the mustard part, but it's not enough. Hey, so we was all lit for that. Then Act 2, SZA came up. Crowd went bananas when SZA came up. All right. So after SZA came up, they both did 30 for 30. Everybody was lit. The energy was there. We were into it. And then after that, SZA goes into Love Galore. All right. I'm not familiar with that song. I'm not familiar with Broken Clocks, but I am familiar with The Weeknd. So she still had the crowd going. But I kind of started to sit down at this point, but it was still cool nonetheless. All right. Now you go to Act 3. Man, Kendrick came out with Euphoria. The whole song. Listen to me. The whole song. He did the whole song. It wasn't a cover of it. It wasn't just the first or the second verse. I mean, because really it's all one verse together. When I tell you everybody in that arena was rapping that bar for bar, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not. And it showed you that is such a tremendous, big, impactful song, because when is the last time a song of that caliber was just that popular to where everybody just rapping word for word? Closest thing I could think of is Meek Mill's Dreams and Nightmares. There wasn't no hook on that. He was just straight rapping. But that's pretty much what this is. And Kendrick had great breath control, no hype man. Like I said, and that song ain't got no hook. Everybody was just rapping. That's one of the dopest songs I've ever heard. No lie. And I'm not trying to gas Kendrick up. I know Drake fans gonna be in the comments. Oh, you gassing him up, man? No, phenomenal record, and the whole audience said that verbatim, word for word. I was like exhausted at the end. I'm like, damn, I rapped that whole thing with them. but the energy was just crazy. Whoo, that was dope, man. And then after that, he keeps it thumping with Hey Now. Hey Now was up next. And I remember when Hey Now came on, man, and he rapped old boy Dottie Six's verse. And isn't it ironic that Dottie Six had called Kendrick out the other day? Was the other week or whatever. So Hey Now, it got everybody jumping. We was into it. Then he goes into one of the most hippity hoppest tracks that he has on GNX, which is Reincarnated. He goes into Reincarnated, and that's one of those type of records you just have to just listen to. You know, you listen to the story. So he did the first and I think the last verse. So he did that. Then he lights the crowd up again with Humble. Humble got everybody going. Then he went into Backseat Freestyle. And I hadn't heard that song in a good minute, man. He had everybody going with Backseat Freestyle. And after that, Act 4 started with SZA. SZA comes out to Nobody Gets Me. I remember when she came out to that. I'm not familiar with that song. And she did say that her ex-fiance requested to not for her to halt the song, for her to stop it. She was like, I don't care. My ex-fiance want me to stop it. I'm gonna keep it singing. So, you know, she did that. And I think that's the one that the record where she samples the Isley Brothers, Atlantis, Voyage Atlantis or something like that. Let me know in the comments if you were there, if I'm not tripping. But anyway, so then we go into Kendrick Lamar. He comes out with Playboy Cardi. And when he comes out with Playboy Cardi, the place went ape-ish. I'm talking, and I'm not a Playboy Cardi fan, but they got a song called Good Credit that's out. And he's the only person he brought out from Atlanta. So he comes out, and I'm talking about just the aesthetics and everything. You feel the energy. It's that Travis Scott type of vibe. Him and Kendrick killed it, and the whole crowd just went crazy for Playboy Cardi. So they got that Good Credit song. Kendrick did his verse, and it just lit up the whole stadium. Then Kendrick went into N95. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't a big fan of N95 when it first came out, but on the tour, it sounded pretty good. And from my understanding, that was his first time performing this on the tour. So that was a tour debut. And next, he goes right back into TV off, but goes to part 2. Just randomly out of nowhere, that Mustard came on. Mustard! So everybody was lit off of that. And what I liked, he had the yellow lights kind of going with Mustard. Mustard came out there. Then he goes for one of the grand finales. We all, you know why we came. At that point, I was like, Kendrick, you know why we came. You know why we're here. And Kendrick performed Not Like Us. The biggest rap song. I know the biggest diss song, but the biggest rap song of all time. And I'm saying it here, Not Like Us. What I loved about when he performed it, he had stuff on the screen to where I want to say it was a lot like Black history stuff. It was culture. It was filled with culture. It was like damn near graffiti wall of just different monumental things when it comes to Black culture, you know, which I always felt a connection to with the songs. To me, it was a FBA anthem, a foundational Black American anthem that resonated with the world, global. All right. It's more than just a Drake diss at this point. And I know a lot of people are, he dissed Drake, he dissed Drake. It is what it is. You got to get over that. All right. So he did Not Like Us. And that's what I just showed you. How everybody said A minor. Dope. He had the dancers going with it, and the dancers really did their job, man. Like they were on the stairs. If you liked the Super Bowl performance, that's basically what this is, but a longer version. Man, I can't wait till the tour footage comes out because they filmed a lot of stuff. It felt like they were filming us in the music video. Just the camera angles, dope, phenomenal. And then the last act, they did Luther. So SZA came out, and then they both did Luther, and then the last song they did was Gloria. It was beautiful. And then after they got finished with Gloria, everybody started leaving, and then they played the instrumental to The Heart Part 6. I thought he was going to perform that, but he didn't perform that. But overall, dope set list. Like I said, some of SZA songs have kind of put me to sleep, but dope set list, dope aesthetics. The pyros were just on point, and it was worth every penny spent. I didn't pay for it. It was a gift for me. But man, just to be there, just the impact. And when I say that, it's like, how Kendrick is just big, like bigger than everybody right now. You would have had to been in that room just to see everybody, not just Black folks, but white folks, Hispanic folks, kids, women, children, men, like, he had hood dudes, everybody from hood people to regular working class people. Kendrick just has the wave right now. He has the wave, and the momentum ain't stopping. My question is what how is this gonna go when he goes to Toronto? How will this be when he goes to Toronto? Can you imagine Not Like Us being performed in Toronto, Drake's home turf, in a stadium? Can you imagine how that's going to be? I want to know in the comment section what you think about that. How do you think Not Like Us or just the tour in general? Do you think Kendrick's going to run into any problems? Do you think Drake's going to have some strings he's going to pull to make it not happen? I don't know, but the whole time I was thinking, if when this goes on in Toronto, how is this going to be? How is this going to be when Kendrick goes into Toronto? Like I don't know, but I'm excited. That's the show I really wanted to go to. This concert was so good, it made me want to go to the Toronto show. So y'all let me know in the comments what you think about that. But all together, like I said, man, 10 out of 10. This was my first stadium concert. And I can tell you this, man, like nobody has that impact. You would have had to been in the room, and that's a big ass room, of course. But in that stadium, I'm a crowd person. I'm a DJ, I'm an artist, performing artist, actor. So I love looking into the crowds to see how people are reacting, just to see how big songs are. And I was just looking up and just noticed everybody was rapping word for word. And this is a couple of things that it did for Kendrick. One thing, it proved, if you didn't know already, because a lot of people tried to count the man out, it proved that he had a catalog. It proves that he has an extensive catalog. It felt like he was doing a versus battle with himself. For all the fans that want to go there to see GNX, of course, you're going to see those. He performed most of the album. But what was big to me is that he was taking us on a journey all the way through memory lane. And he was talking about how he used to perform at the Tabernacle. Now, the Tabernacle is a cool venue in Atlanta, but that was like kind of the beginning stages of his career. So for him to be performing there as an artist at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, formerly the Georgia Dome, only a handful of people can do that. And that's Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and y'all let me know who else. But Drake can't do it. Drake can't do a stadium tour. Sorry. Kendrick comes with more aesthetics than Drake, So all you Drake can do just as good. People need to sit down. But man, phenomenal show. I would go see it again. I can't wait to see the footage. Hopefully they put out like a documentary about it, because this is monumental. The set, the playlist, just everything, man. I was just so happy to be a part of it. Just as a rap fan, as a hip hop fan, this was a good look. The rappers who don't even like Kendrick Lamar, Drake, you should be appreciative of this. You're a phenomenal hip hop artist. This was just a win for the culture. This was a win for the culture just in general. You take Kendrick out of it, if you got 45,000 people, WrestleMania crowd numbers, football stadium numbers, you got 45 to 50,000 people per night coming to see a man who is known for his rap skills and making hit songs, yeah, but rapping. That's monumental for hip hop. Shout out to SZA too, but that's that. But it also showed you the people who were just like, Kendrick ain't really got hits like that. He can't compete against Drake like that. Cap. All cap. He's proven this on this tour that man has a very extensive catalog. Now, the last thing that I'll say about it is also it confirms the question I've been asking, the $1 million question. Is GNX a classic album? Is GNX a classic album? Let me tell you something. I think yes. Yes, absolutely. I think GNX is definitely a classic rap album. After going to this show, this confirms it because he performed most of the songs on there. Matter of fact, let me pull up the track list. Hold on, I'm missing something from that Atlanta set list. You know what? Where's Dodger Blue? He performed Dodger Blue. I can't remember where he performed, and I'm glad somebody took the time to write this because I was just in the zone and I knew I would have had to do a review, but I didn't feel like going back and forth and just trying to write everything down. I wanted to enjoy the concert, but he did Dodger Blue somewhere in between. Was that but after Backseat Freestyle? Something like that. But they had like the trailers playing like the different vignettes of him and SZA acting and different things like that. And they were doing deposition with him talking about different things, and just the whole theatrics of it was dope. But I forgot to add Dodger Blue in there. My bad, y'all. My bad. But yeah, so he did Whacked Out, Murals, Squabble Up, Luther. He did Man at the Garden. What am I tripping for? They didn't add that into this set list either. When did he? Because he did Man at the Garden. He did Man at the Garden too. I forgot which one it is. So whoever wrote these songs, they didn't get it all right. So yeah, I can't remember the placement of it, but he did Man at the Garden too. So boom, we got Whacked Out, Murals, Squabble Up, Luther. He did Man at the Garden, Hey Now, Reincarnated, TV Off, Dodger Blue, and Pickaboo. What did I'm missing Pickaboo too? He did. I want to say he did Pickaboo. When did he do that? He did. This is. Let me say this. It was a long concert too. It was real long. Like SZA's part was real long. We got there. It was supposed to start. Well, it started at 7, but DJ Mustard was up there, and they didn't get it started till it felt like 8:45, damn near 9 o'clock or something like that. We didn't get out there till like 11, like closer to 11. So it was like 8:45. Yeah. So, but it was long. But he did Peekaboo and he did Gloria. Yeah. So yeah, he did most of the songs off of there. I forgot he did Peekaboo, man. My bad, y'all. But yeah, he did most of that album. So it confirms that GNX is a classic. Excuse me, is a classic album. It is for sure. So my bad on the set list. I forgot that all those songs are performed too. Peekaboo, I got lit for Peekaboo. It was just a hip hop fan's dream. And if you're a fan of SZA, if you're a fan of Kendrick Lamar, and you're a fan of the GNX album, this was for you. This was for you. So, man, like I said, I give it a 10 out of 10. Go see it when it comes to your city. Please go see it. But anyway, let me move on to something else.